Well, hello everyone and welcome back to HEMR Live. Today is number 26 and we are back with part 2 of goodness knows how many until we finish this Airfix 1/72 scale, so a little bit larger than 00 scale, but probably close enough. Airfix Supermarine Spitfire Mk.1a, and here is how far we got yesterday. We assembled the pilot, put him into his cockpit, put the cockpit decal on, which is actually, oh no it isn't, never mind, that's the wrong bit I'm looking at. Glued the fuselage together with some glue leakage, but we'll be cleaning that up today, and we actually got the propeller on as well, which miraculously does spin. So today we are going to be continuing on with that. We got up to step 3 yesterday, so we have parts 4, this page, and when I find the other pages, because they like to disappear, oh, it was literally on the back, 5, 6 and 7, goodness knows how quick we will actually, get onto this today, how far we get on, but we'll see how we do. I am suspecting it will take us into tomorrow's stream. To address the elephant in the room, if you hear any loud bangs on camera, you don't get a point for guessing what they are, because it should be blitheringly obvious. But yeah, fireworks, it's Saturday, so there's obviously going to be slightly more fireworks today for bonfire night than on actual bonfire night, because tomorrow, as I am sure you have guessed, is Sunday. So we're going to be continuing on with this. This microphone is supposed to be noise cancelling, but obviously it's only noise cancelling to a certain extent. It can't, drown out or cancel the noise of World War III going on outside. And of course, I am sat in the loft, so there's only so much I can do to try and stop that, and, well, there is nothing I can do to stop that. So we're going to crack on with this, hopefully hopefully I've sorted the paints out, which I'll explain, but hopefully today we will have a little bit of a better day than we did yesterday, sorting out this Airfix Supermarine Spitfire. So I will roll the intro, and I do hope you enjoy the stream, everyone. See you in about 13 seconds. Right, the first thing I want to do is just quickly try and sort my OBS out, because I've managed to put it into full screen, which I don't really want to do. Does F11 work, or am I now going to completely brick everything? Let me try. No, that definitely hasn't worked. Let me see. I need to look at my keyboard. F11. Yeah, I've sorted it somehow, but also I haven't. Oh, no, never mind, I've sorted it. Okay, we're back in OBS normal view, that's good. Pete from Pete's Transport and More is in. I'm doing well, thank you, Pete. The late start, as I said I was explaining, is because I've been trying to sort these paints out. So these two paints were completely hard yesterday. They were literally just, well, hard substances in the bottom. So I tried using carburettor cleaner spray yesterday to loosen them up, which did actually work. But turns out I did a very bad look yesterday on the search for white spirit, and I have actually found some white spirit. So I've filled these up with white spirit in the last half hour, which is why we've started late, so I've got to find it and fill these up. And hopefully the paint's dissolved enough so that, we can actually do some painting with them. The other two with the flip lids are fine, so the seal or the composition of these paints must be a lot better than the other two. So we're going to see how they behave today. We do actually have some leftover painting to do, because mistakenly I didn't paint the propeller. I forgot about painting the propeller before we actually glued the two halves down here of the fuselage together. So you've seen that picture, you know exactly what we're doing. So we'll crack on. Today I'm expecting to run until maybe 9 o'clock, maybe past. I'm really not sure how far I want to go, but we shall see how we get on. So I'm going to move back to step 3, because as I said yesterday, I completely forgot about painting the propeller. And I'm pretty sure the propeller is going to be black, but to save painting something the wrong colour, as I did yesterday, and then I had to correct it, we're going to come back here. So in step 2, it's pointing all of the parts with number 33. If we look on there, number 33 is black paint. So in fact, I'll keep this box out of view of the cameras, but so I can still see it. Right. Let's crack on. So, okay, all I need to know really is the propeller is painted black. So, we can flip back. There. So, we'll sort that out in a minute, but I'm hoping that this paint, and I've got some better clothes on today and more appropriate for painting, because yesterday I had some quite nice clothes on, which is a bit stupid of me. Hopefully today, where's my pot of water gone? The paints will be a bit better. I do have some white spirit, but it's just water in this pot. Simply because, you know, white spirit is flammable, and I don't want to have open containers of white spirit in the loft because it's flammable. It was alright with the carburettor spray because, of course, it is in a spray can. And I just don't really want to faff about putting it in sealable containers because most of them we use for food. And, you know, it's just not something I want to be messing about with, really. So I'll do my best to clean the brush out with water and try and unstiffen it, although that paint has actually dried quite thick on there. Maybe I should have also washed the brush out in white spirit. Anyway, we'll persist and see how far we get on. If we don't get very far, then I'll simply just have to paint everything when it's put together and actually wash the brush out with white spirit. But I didn't actually think this was oil-based paint. I thought it was water-based, with it just being cheapo Humbrol stuff. Should be good enough. Just try and break up the excess paint on the brush. It'll have to do, really, because I ain't got another one smaller. This isn't even the original one from the kit, actually. Oh, that'll be fine. If it gives me problems, I'll just go downstairs and wash it out in white spirit. Right, so, is this black any less... doesn't look great, does it? Any less congealed than yesterday? No. Right. In fact, I didn't really need to wash it, mind you, it was a bit stiff. Where is the black stirrer I had from yesterday? It looks very sticky and gloopy. It's sort of all just coagulated. Ah, yes, that looks lovely. It's just a giant block now. So the white spirits has actually worked less good than the carburettor cleaner did yesterday. That's interesting. So that's not worked unless it needs copious amounts of white spirit, but not to worry. Carburettor cleaner worked yesterday, we're going to use it again. I think carburettor cleaner is actually slightly more corrosive, could you say, than white spirit. It certainly will melt plastic, well, some types of plastic will carburettor cleaner. So I'm going to try and re-dissolve this because it's not gone all that well since yesterday. That does actually seem to be working quite well now. Yeah, that's dissolving. If I put the other camera in, you might be able to see. This actually seems to be dissolving now, which is a bonus. Yeah, it's not quite as gloopy. Not all of it even has to dissolve, to be honest. I just need some that I can get, yeah, as you can see here on the end of there, on the end of the brush. So we're just going to paint the propeller and then we'll move on to step 4. That'll do, I think. Can we get some... Oh yeah, that looks like paint on the end of the brush. As I say, I would use other paints, but unfortunately these are the only paints apart from watercolours, which would be useless, I've got really, so we'll manage, as usual on this channel, bodging my way along. So we'll paint the propeller, and then we might have to get... we might just have to be careful and not touch that while it paints. So I'm going to try and paint the propeller and not get it on the body. As I said, I should have painted it before we put it together, but I forgot. So if I just hold that like that and try and paint that. I may have to go and wash this brush out actually. This paint doesn't seem to be doing all that well either. Doesn't seem to be very thick. This is just going to be me at the start of every one of these streams trying to get paint to actually function like paint, is it? I mean, I've got some black Amorite downstairs, but that's not very good, is it, for plastic? Oh god, that looks hideous. That's not going on very well at all, is that? Oh, it's terrible. Perhaps we need a bit more carburettor spray. I'm going to say we managed to get it to work yesterday. Let's not get it on the Spitfire because then it will just dissolve. There. I may go and wash the brush out because it was alright getting the paint off with water yesterday before it dried, but now it's dried. Perhaps I should have left it in the water overnight. It's not gone all that well. We'll persevere until I eventually realise that what I'm doing is stupid and I should probably just do it properly. Try not to spray it all over my computer like I did yesterday. I wonder if you can actually hear the fireworks over the stream. You probably can, to be fair. That looks like a bit more like paint though. Let's not get black all over the body of the Spitfire. Somebody said yesterday I really should get some helping hands, and I do agree. They're good for soldering as well, but most soldering I can manage without helping hands. Yeah, this paint's awful. Maybe I do just need to buy some paint, but that's not really the priority at the moment. Buying paint. I'm supposed to be doing scenery. Mind you, I suppose black would come in use for scenery, but then I need to get the hills done first. Yeah, this paint's not doing well at all. It looks terrible. And the brush probably needs washing out. So I'll make the executive decision, despite being, I guess, the only person who has power over what goes out on this channel. I think I'll make the executive. I can't really paint anything else though. The rest of the stuff needs to be painted before. Yeah, the rest of the stuff needs to be painted before it's glued on, really. Evan Terry's joined. Hello, thank you very much for coming along to watch me massacre and ruin the Spitfire, which is exactly what I'm doing at the moment. Maybe the paint needs some more white spirit, but yeah, it's just sort of all flaking off the paintbrush. So I think I may have to go downstairs and wash that paintbrush out properly. Aside from that, let's try some more of this. I've got plenty of it. I've got 2 cans full. Let's get that to penetrate in there. It's annoying really, because 2 out of the 4 colours are fine. Anyway, right, I'm going to cut the other, for step 4, I'm going to cut what I need out of these sprues. And then I'll go and wash the brush out with white spirit. As I said yesterday, these pliers are far too big, but I broke my small ones, so I am just having to manage. So that's B23, 1 wing. B20, oh no, sorry, that was B24 actually, this is B23, but matter does it? Yeah, so I'll just lop out the big parts of the sprues and then neaten it up once they're out, because these snips are too big. So that is B23. No, that was B19, this was B23. Get your things the right way around. What else do we need from B? B21, which is the exhausts. Interesting. That's B21, so that's the exhausts for that side. B22, as you might have guessed, is the exhaust for the other side. Let's lop them out. So exhaust for that side. B27, which is the frame underneath. Whoops. Let's get that. Snip. Oops. Snip. So this is the underframe, I guess you could call it. So that's the underframe. I'm putting this all out how it comes out. That's B27, B19, B32 is the back rudder area. I think, are these the elevators? I think that's what these are. So you want B32 and B34. There and there. B25, which is the vertical, well, this actually is the rudder. So you can go there, B23, B22, 27, 19, 23, 21, 34, 32 and 35, which we've done. Assembly step 3 is the entire Spitfire. And we need the cockpit now, which is C 35, which is this little, well, clear, it's not going to be perspex, is it, but this clear plastic part here. So let's get the cockpit out. It's a rather interesting piece. That's a very small sprue, we don't need that anymore. And that is the cockpit. Now, I will leave you for just a couple of minutes, because although I think the paint will be fine, the brush desperately needs washing out in some white spirit. So I will go and do that. Please do not go anywhere. I will be back very soon. And for now, I will leave you with this screen, and you can analyse the mini collection of tools I've got on my workbench. Promise you, I will be back in 2 minutes. Just going to wash this brush out in some white spirit, and I will be back with you. I'll leave my microphone here if you like, so you can listen to all of the explosions going on outside. I'll tell you what, we'll clip it to the Spitfire to keep it upright. There we go. So, listen to the fireworks for 2 minutes while I go and wash this brush out. Thank you very much, folks. Back shortly. And now I have to climb under these baseboards. Oh, I'm back with a tub that we don't use for food. I have to be careful with this because I don't want to blow up. Microphone back on. Pete says when you took the mic off you faded out as you got further away. Yeah, I do forget that tends to happen. It's back on now. Back to full volume. And now if I need some white spirit to sort the paint out, I've got some, but as I say, it didn't seem to work all that well. Watch it, this white spirit won't even wash the brush out now. Get the proper camera back on. Just you watch. I'll have been to all this trouble and this brush will be permanently ruined. Just you watch, it won't wash out. There's bits coming off it. Oh, no, it does. Oh, that's actually worked, my God. Don't really want to stir it up too much because then it with a load of fumes in the loft, which is not great, is it? But there is adequate ventilation, I'd like to think. Oh, that seems to be alright. Let's give it a dry. Quite a lot of muck in the end. I wonder if I can just pull that out with my paintbrush. Yeah. Lesson learned. Always wash your paintbrush out before you start. I have put far too much white spirit in that pot as well. Never mind. If I really mash it against the bottom, it might help. I just realised I forgot to charge my microphone again after yesterday's stream, so I hope it's charged up enough. We'll soon find out, won't we? Good job this is an old towel as well. A golf towel, actually, as you might be able to tell. Right, that's the paintbrush pretty much restored. Let's put this out of the way before I go up in smoke or kill myself by, I don't know, accidentally drinking it or something. Not that I'm stupid. Well, maybe I am stupid. No, of course I'm not. I'm just having you on. Right, without spilling this everywhere, we could do with giving it a little bit of a massage to try and once again dissolve some of the solid paint into the carburettor cleaner. Oh, it's coming out in a big gloopy blob again. Maybe I do literally just need to chuck this black paint into that tub. Then it'd end up really thin, wouldn't it? If it fails, I may just chuck this blob into that tub and see what happens. I don't actually think we need this colour for a while, so it might have to be tomorrow's job. That looks roughly like paint consistency. Let's stick the brush in and see what happens. It may have been painting badly simply because the brush was just picking up bits rather than actual solid paint. That doesn't look too bad. What's coming off now? Look, that's not terrible. Right, make sure we're not going to get black all over the body of the Spitfire because that most definitely will show through. Test. No, we're not getting black all over it. Right, let's try and paint it again. In fact, sensible thing to do would be wipe all the terrible paint off the prop like that. And possibly start again. Failing this, I will... God knows what I'll do actually, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Yeah, it's not painting any better, I'll tell you that. Right, okay. Let's do this properly. Because this tub is already full of black paint anyway, I'm just going to dump that small pot in here. That obviously will dilute it quite a bit. It may need more than one coat, but that's all I can really do at the moment without making multiple trips downstairs. So we'll chuck all that paint in there, and then tomorrow I'll need another pot for the other colours of paint, the sort of undercoat. So yeah, there's nothing we can do really apart from stir this round and hope it's not too thin, and hope it doesn't just all disappear. Not been a good start again today, is it? What are we? Nearly half an hour in and we've barely done anything. Again, it's like yesterday. As I say, this is probably far too much white spirit for this quantity of paint, but then again, all the moisture has sort of just evaporated, so... let's leave that to dissolve a bit in there. We'll come back to that in a little while and we'll see what happens. So what can we glue together without painting? So the only bit of the wings that needs painting is apparently that square there and that square there underneath. Okay, so we can definitely paint that. We can definitely paint that when the wings are actually glued in. So we can glue the wings in and paint that. We can't paint the exhausts because I'll just end up getting paint all over the body. So we'll put them over there. These, it's not actually telling us to paint yet, so we can glue them in. We can glue the rudder in. Where's the cockpit gone? The cockpit doesn't need painting. We might have to mask that up when we paint the body though. The cockpit doesn't need painting. Black circle C35, what does that mean? Black circle is crystal part, so that'll be the glass. Do not cement together is a half black, half white circle. So, we can actually glue together more than I initially thought here. So, oh yes, first of all, we actually need to tidy up the sprues, don't we? Sprue marks where the pips have been. Like that. Failing this paint dissolving and it all completely going to pot, I'll just build it, and then instead of painting it part by part, I'll just have to mask it up later and paint it, which will be slightly more annoying, but you know, well, it's what's going to have to be done when I buy some paint. So this series may be paused for a few months while I order the paint, get the paint and such. If I can't get that black paint to dissolve, because then I'll have to do the camo-y base colour after that. So yeah, if this doesn't work, I'll just build it, glue it all together, and I'll have to mask it up and paint it at a later date. Jaden's here. Thank you very much for joining. He says, sorry I'm late, I was out watching fireworks, no problem at all. How's the Spitfire going? Not very well. First of all, the paint had dried on the paintbrush, and turns out you can't actually wash it out with water. So that happened, and then the paint doing the carburettor cleaner fix yesterday also hasn't really worked. So it's currently, as you can see here, all the black paint from that tub, I've just dumped it into this container of white spirit, which, as I say, may be thinning it out too much, but I'm not making multiple trips out of the loft. So we'll see how it goes, and for this colour, I'm just going to have to wait while tomorrow and dissolve that probably overnight, I'd imagine. Not much of the colours leaching out from here though. So yeah, not going all that well, but we are actually making progress. I can actually glue quite a lot together without painting it, because it turns out there isn't actually all that much to paint in step 4. So I'm just tidying up all these sprues really, which don't come off the model the best, I have to admit. I thought these would just sort of snap off, but they're a bit poor to be honest. They're not cleaning up very well. Pete says, don't worry George, I'm liking it, take your time. Thank you very much, Pete. I am trying to remain somewhat sane. I'm joking, of course. Right, plastic, these little bits can go bonk. That bit on the back. Snip that off. Snip that off. That pip on the top's supposed to be there. Yes. Right, so I can actually glue everything together here, apart from the exhausts, because the tail bits don't need painting, apparently. It doesn't say to. The only bit that needs painting is the exhausts. Oh, I've got black paint on the wing. Oh, it's come off. No, it hasn't. I've just wiped it on. You wally. I've just wiped all the... I've been cleaning my brush on this corner, and I've just wiped the wing all over it. Never mind. So yeah, apart from the exhausts, which are really tiny and you just get black paint all over the body of the Spitfire, we can actually glue most of this together. It doesn't matter that it's a bit dirty really, you've got to put this coat of undercoat. Somebody has recommended on YouTube. I watched a video of you actually do an undercoat with this, so that's what I'll actually do because this is the lightest colour. You do the undercoat with that, is what I'm guessing. So that's what we'll do. So we can actually, there is black paint all over that wing, but it'll be fine. Can always splash it with white spirit or something. Or in fact, as long as I don't use too much of this, because it'll start dissolving the wing, I can actually use some carburettor cleaner, use the underside of the towel, and if I get it off quickly so it doesn't start attacking the plastic, I should be able to just wipe all of that off. Which has worked, except now it is covered in bits of loose towel. That didn't go well, but at least all the paint's come off. Let's try and rub all that away. That didn't work as brilliantly as I thought it would do. We may have to get a little bit of sandpaper on that. The exhausts are a separate part. That's why I'm not painting them, because the black paint, as you can see over there, just in front of my right arm, is dissolving still. So I can. Everything else is a separate part, but it doesn't actually require to get the paintbrush very near the body. So I'm leaving everything off apart from the exhausts and then just gluing the exhausts on. I'm just going to try and clean this Spitfire wing up with this bit of sandpaper, because I've just got bits of towel all stuck to the wing. This is probably absolute sacrilege to do, but I'm just going to try and clean up this wing a little bit. Get all the crap off it that's just stuck. I really don't think things through, do I? Oh well. Could be worse. Well, that wing now looks better. Right, let's glue some stuff. How the hell do these wings fix on there? Do they literally just sandwich on there like that? That's interesting. Do they go under? Like that? Oh, how on earth do these fit together? So these need to be faced down that way. Like that. But then we'll need to be that way, I presume, to fit in that slot. Interesting. So that needs to be. Oh right, so I see. This goes on first, of which I didn't actually clean the clip on that. Let's just snip off. Jaden says that's a surprise that takes people, something that takes people by surprise for the first time. The bits are quite hard to take off the spools with all the parts in it that you then cut off. Yeah, I thought they'd just snap off. I mean, some of them have, but then again, the majority of them haven't. So this glues on there, does it? Oh yeah, that makes more sense. And then they just sort of slot in. Oh yeah, look at that. That makes more sense. That makes more sense. So this needs to be glued on first, as I understand. The two halves of the Spitfire have actually held quite well together. I'm surprised. So that goes on there like that. And then that. Oh, that's the wrong way. That has to go on with that facing backwards like that. So that goes there. Like that. And that one goes there like that. Okay. Jaden says you'd have had more pleasure in building one of the most iconic aircraft of all time. Well, yes, I would have if I had the right tools and the paint wasn't all dried up. He says also not to mention the fact in general it's the most beautiful aircraft of the all time. I might agree with you there. Do I glue the wings to here first and then to the Spitfire? Yes, because the instructions are pointing at these. These on the instructions are pointing to this bottom half of the wings rather than to the... Yeah, okay, so these need gluing on here first, which is what I shall do now. So, I presume... Let me check I've got those on the right way, which I have. So I presume the mating surfaces are really just sort of Well, if I turn it upside down... Oh yeah, I can see where the wing fits in there like that, look. Right, let's get the poly cement. Should be 6 exhausts. Yes, there are. There's 3 on one half there and 3 on the other half there. Jaden is the absolute Lord and Saviour. Is that the right word? Of this Airfix build, by the way, because he actually knows what he's doing, where I'm just pretending I do and then bodging my way through it. That hasn't... there seems to be rather a lot of air in this cement now. That's not very good. Right, let's put a bit of a blob around the edge there like that. Just following the seam line, I guess, where the wing sits. So we'll pop some down there like that. Down there like that. And then in that bit, not too much. He says putting far too much on. It smells nice actually, this stuff. It smells slightly fruity. I wonder if it's got some sort of ester in there or something. Jaden is full of knowledge, aka plain nerd. Well, we could all be classed as trained nerds if you like. Oh, that fit on there with quite a satisfying slide. I'm going to try not to smudge the glue, so I'm going to line it up and then try and align. Well, I'm going to line it up and then press them together. Ooh, look at that! That's gone on well. I am pleased. The left side hasn't. Oh, sorry, the right side. Well, yeah, the left side when it's the correct way up, I suppose. Hopefully my double O gauge kit builds go better than this. I'm sure they will, but... Right, I'm just going to hold them two to close the gap and press them together. Well, that's actually gone quite well. The black paint doesn't seem to be dissolving any better. Oh well. It may just have to be a factory Oh yeah, an unlivered Spitfire. Or alternatively, Jaden says that, or I could just get the can of spray paint from downstairs and paint it all green. Jaden, this is the cockpit, this plastic piece. Do you recommend gluing it or not gluing it? Well, yesterday actually you said not to glue the pilot in place. But then I'm not actually sure, with gluing the two halves of the body together, that you would actually ever be able to pull... No, you wouldn't. Look, you wouldn't be able to pull that out there through this hole. So although you said not to glue the pilot in, with the two halves of the body now glued together, we can't actually get the pilot out. So I think I am going to glue the cockpit in place, because it will obviously just fall off if you move it, won't it? So I think I will glue the cockpit, the canopy in place. Right, that seems to have set enough now. Let me just make sure. Yeah, that's not going anywhere. Right, so they're the wings. And miraculously, I've got the holes for the land. I've got the the landing gear, the wheels in the right orientation, miraculously. Jaden says this is an early Spitfire. This should use the Rolls-Royce Merlin. Yes, it does. It says on the instructions. Liquid-cooled V12 piston engine, 27 litres, designed and first run it in 33, very nice. Glue the canopy in place, not the pilot. Glue his seat in, obviously. Oh. I glued the seat in, and I glued the pilot to the seat. Oh well, when you said, I don't know if you were here yesterday before you said don't glue the pilot in. Oh well, never mind, I don't really intend to ever take him out. So the pilot's glued into his seat, but the sort of unit that the pilot sits into, that cockpit little unit we glued together, isn't glued in, but it doesn't really matter because as you can see, when I give him a wiggle he's not moving. Never mind. Slight cock up there, we'll just ignore that. And then, if I've done this right, that should sit in there, which it does. Look at that. Jaden says it's not a problem, just something I don't do for reasons of my own. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, so the pilot's glued into his seat, but the sort of little unit you see sat in there, all the plastic pieces, yeah, haven't been glued in. But the pilot's glued into his seat. Never mind. Right, so this is fairly easy to understand what needs gluing here, he says. So it's just a case of, I believe, running some glue around those parts, which we're not too much on. As I say, with excess glue I can just scrape it or sand it off with it. I'm not really too bothered if it ends up looking terrible, because my painting skills are terrible. There we go. Let's screw this in. Pete says all the pilot falls out. Yes. Again, I'm going to try not to smudge the glue too much. How is that? Oh right, that actually needs to be there. Okay. I pretty much got that in straight away. Oh no, I didn't. It's completely wonky. Well, that's better. No, it isn't. I can't get it in now. Silly thing. No. So I can get it in fine when there's no glue, but as soon as I put glue on, I just completely lose all capability whatsoever. Great. This may need bending to get it in. Is that supposed to push in there? No, because the wing's in the way. Oh, I've done this wrong. Oh no. Oh, there's a bit of a seam line around it. I'm not too bothered, to be honest. It doesn't look terrible. Well, it does look terrible. But, yeah, it hasn't really sat in there all that great now, has it? Never mind. It's in. The wings aren't, though. Oh, is that supposed to go? Oh, that's supposed to go under there. Right, okay, that makes sense. It's not really stuck down all that well there. Look, there's a bit of a gap there. Oh well. From the top, you're not going to really see it. But the entire thing looks like it needs to go backwards a bit, to be honest with you. That's not gone great. Yeah, there's a bit of a gap underneath. Oh, look at that. Sort of glued in now as well. I wonder if I can just snip that pip off a little bit. Oh, in fact, I've got a Stanley knife here. Let's doctor this. Right, I've cut that pip off with the Stanley knife now. It may go in better. And it doesn't. Okay, never mind. Oh, yes it does. No, it doesn't. Yes, it does. No, it doesn't. Oh. Oh, it just needs clamping and pushing in place a little bit. Let's push that in. Okay, this may actually work. I think I have just mended it. Jaden says, in September 1939, K5054 prototype version was modified to bring it up to Mark 1 standard. This involved a switch to Merlin 2 engine and ejector type exhaust. Well, this is a Mark 1A, it says on the box. Directed the exhaust rearward to provide some thrust, thereby increasing the plane's top speed. Thought you'd be interested. That seems like a relatively sensible addition. Yeah, these exhausts, as far as I can tell, are facing backwards. Yeah, they look to be facing backwards. These are sort of come out and then go shoot backwards. The nozzles look to shoot backwards. Yeah. Ejector type exhaust manifold. Okay, fair enough. This sort of could do with pressing. I'll just hold that in there for a couple more moments. Maybe the glue's already gone off. I'm going to see if I can squeeze a bit more in that gap. Like that. Yes, it will be, because that's a production model. The K5054 was a prototype that came before the Mark 1. Okay, fair enough. Right, now I've got some glue in there. Now if I hold it down, the gap will hopefully close. I just need to hold this. Can you see? Yeah, if I hold it here, you can see just about. There. Let's try and seal this gap. And I'm going to check on the... Okay, that doesn't reek of white spirit, so it's not leaking fumes everywhere, so that's a bonus. Come on. Hold, goddamn you. Oh wow, this propeller actually turns. Look, when I blow... Okay, you can't actually, I can't. Let's see. Well, that's pleasing that it spins enough. This is annoying, it's not wanting to stick. Oh, fingers in way. There we go. So we do actually have a propeller that works, albeit it's terribly painted because the black paint just decided to give up on me. I wonder if I could get the clamps and actually clamp that. Because it might not actually cause the entire thing to split like it did yesterday. Let's use the completely most ridiculously oversized clamps conceivably possible. Conceivably possible. Clamps that you could conceive would be a better way of phrasing it, isn't it, George? Yeah, use your maths. English properly. Maths properly. People are going to think I'm stark raving mad, which is half true, but... There, we've got that clamped and it's not actually caused the entire thing to split apart, so that's always a bonus. And with any luck, I should be able to glue these in while this is drying. Well, that's actually good I didn't glue these two back things together because the rudder goes in there. So let's clean these up. In fact, I've just realised I can actually clean these pips up better with a Stanley knife rather than oversized snips. I'm only a bit wary of using Stanley knives because they're pretty sharp and will do significant damage to your fingers if you get them in the way, but yeah, that's actually doing quite a good job at cleaning these up, especially if I just aim slightly upwards and then it's not going to take a massive gash out of anything. That's actually worked quite well. I am surprised, to say the least. Right, so these need to go. Oh, that's got a D written on it. That one's got a D written on it. So they need to... Wow, that was a big firework. They need to go with that funny little pip facing backwards like that. So they need to go like that, and they pass through that hole there. I say it should pass through that hole there, but it isn't doing. Oh yes, it. Oh, look at that fit. Did you see that? That clipped in there with a little bit of persuasion. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's actually clipped in there quite well. I am shocked. And Jaden has said the Supermarine Spitfire is called Spitfire because it was suggested by Robert McLean, or it might be Leon, I'm not sure, who was the director of the parent plant Vickers Armstrong, liked to call his daughter Little Spitfire. I had to do that because these separate. I had to do that, but separate because of the 200 character limit. Yeah, it's 200 characters, not 200 words. 200 words would be quite long, actually. So where does the pit go? Does that sit on top like that, or does that sit in there? Oh yes, of course, that sits in there like that, I think. Yeah, 'cause it wouldn't sit like... Would it sit on top there like that? Oh yeah, of course, because that makes it completely round if it's sat on top. Okay, that makes sense. So that slides in between these two. It's a good job I didn't glue these two back bits together properly, isn't it? Oh, so that just sort of sits on there like that and gets glued. Okay, right. Ah! Somebody who has not been in before, I believe, Mk.1a has joined. Thank you very much for joining. Nice to see you. Do you like Class 37 Hornbys? Oh, yes, I do. In fact... Oh. I think it's in... Ah, yes, it's in my drawer. I can just reach it. There we go. Yes. I do have a Hornby 37. It is a Hornby Railroad Flyer 37, number 37116, 37116 Comet. Railroad, £97 this was. Lovely model, actually. I did a review on it not that long ago, but yes, I do like Hornby Class 37s indeed. They are nice. Jaden agrees. Pete says, George, I'm sure you had helping hands in your early videos, or am I wrong? No, you might. I've never had a pair of helping hands. You may be getting confused with this, a little modelling vise from Lidl. You just clamp it to anything. So yeah, you could be getting confused with that. I have crocodile clips, which crocodile clips do feature on helping hands, but yeah, I've never owned a pair of helping hands. You could have perhaps be confusing that with my little modelling vise, which I have used before. Yeah, that's not too bad, that, does it? Lady Spencer, Class 47. I've actually seen that in real life. I think I did a train spotting video on that as well. Yeah, I've seen that with the control car, the control cab at the back as well. Driving van trailer car type thing. I can't remember what its exact name is, but yeah, I have seen that as well. I've seen the Lady Spencer Class 47 in real life. Oops, that shouldn't have gone on there. Yeah, I've seen that 47 in real life on an LSL rail tour. Quite nice, actually. I did enjoy the control cab at the back as well. Jaden's got to go to dinner. Could be back soon. Okay, Jaden, no problems at all. Please do enjoy your dinner. I had jacket potato and a hot dog today, because we were supposed to have bonfire night food, but with it being raining where I am and very miserable, we decided not to do that. So we just had the food we would have had outside at the bonfire instead. So, we're going to clip those two together, which have actually miraculously gone in almost perfectly. That one wants straightening out a little bit, but those two at the back have gone in very nice. My best Hornby is 70,000. That is, if I am not mistaken, I'll get the right screen up. Hornby 70,000. Britannia, is it not? Yes, it is. Hey, I'm not completely useless about trains. Yeah, Britannia, very nice. Very nice is that. Is it the railroad one? I think they did a rail... Did they do a tender drive one at some point? Or is it one of the more modern ones? I think. Again, I'm not gonna... Don't quote me on this, but I think they did a tender drive one. But yeah, Britannia's a lovely engine. Yeah, I do. Yeah, it is. So that's going to have to glue on there like that. So I'm actually going to put the glue on the back, this part here, rather than on the rudder, just because there's more surface area on here. And there's less likely for it to spill somewhere where I don't want it to spill. Put some on there, splodge on the top. There we go. Right, let's try and marry this up with any luck. Oh wow, that actually went on perfectly. I am amazed. make sure it's straight, which it pretty much is. There! That's not that. We've got a plane! We have a plane! The rudder and the little elevators. I think the elevators are at the back. I can't, honestly, I'm not a plane buff. I know there's elevators and ailerons that cause it to do that side to side and such, but we've got a plane that would actually fly, albeit it's got not any wheels, but well, I am shocked we've got this far, to be quite frankly honest with you. I'm now going to leave that alone for fear of it breaking. Best steam is Sir Nigel. Yeah, the A4 is not a bad choice. My favourite personally is the standard class 4MT460. There's some confusion about the tank engine and the tender engine version. I'm going to say that's the tender version, I should say, to clear up any confusion. Now, I've just realised that this hasn't particularly well stuck down at the back, so I'm just going to try and clear some of this moulding pip off here. As you can tell, I am a useless kit builder. Never mind. Let's do this way so I'm not going to take my fingers off. Yeah, with any luck that might actually press down anymore. But yeah, I agree. Nigel Grizzly, the steam loco, the A4s are a brilliant choice. Yeah, I can't fault you for that. Let's just check that that's still straight. They're still level. Yeah, look at this. This is looking. I'm gonna, you know, I'm not a kit builder by any means of stretch of the imagination, but I don't think this is looking too bad. Right, let's see if this black paint's going to dissolve any. Oh, not really. It's sort of just sitting there doing sod all. I wonder if I was to scoop it back into its pot, whether I would actually have any luck getting some paint off it. Now it's had a bit of a soak. So let's try and... Well, I didn't spill it all over the workbench, that's a bonus. Let's stick it in there. That doesn't seem to be wanting to dissolve. That is annoying. Very annoying. Let's get a bit of a longer stick and just poke it about a little bit. Yeah, I don't think... yeah, so the exhausts can't go on, because they need painting before they go on. So we can't do anything with the exhaust, because they definitely need painting before they go on. Although they do need painting black, so I can actually handle these with dirty fingers, because they're going to be painted black, and cut the pips off, the sprue pips. So I'll just lop the main bits off and then get the other pips off with the Stanley knife, very carefully of course. King447, he says his best class 47 rail tour is the Statesman. Might be inclined to agree with you there. The West Coast Railway ones aren't bad, but I think the Statesman ones, the LSL ones, are certainly the most interesting and definitely got the nicest engines on, so to speak. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you there. I've not actually been... Have I been on a rail tour? No, I've been on the East Lancashire Railway behind Flying Scotsman, but I've not actually been on a rail tour. So it's something I need to do, but it's waiting for one that doesn't cost £350 per person, really. I'm waiting for. I did miss a couple this year that were about £80 a person, which isn't too bad. I do understand, of course, why they cost so much, but obviously I can't spend, you know, £700 for two of us to go on a rail tour for, you know, 16 hours. It's just a little bit steep, but I completely understand why they do have to charge that much, of course. I am not completely oblivious to the costs of running vintage engines, specifically steam locos, on the main line. Right, I'm going to ditch the white spirits and see if we can't get some actual decent black paint on the brush. All I need is really some colour from the paint to wash out into the carburettor cleaner, and that's all I really need, to be honest with you. Best 37 rail tot is Private Charter. Not heard of them before. Have I seen 37s? Yes, I have seen 37s on a rail tot. There was Isle of Mull that I saw not that long ago in the same livery as the 37 that's over there, which I'm not going to pick up because my hands are now covered in black paint. But I've seen Isle of Mull in the same livery as Comet, and I have also seen, what else have I seen? I've seen the Scarborough Spar Express with the West Coast Railways 37s as well. That was quite a nice rail tot, I do have to admit. Right, I'm going to try and paint the propeller again now. This paint might actually be usable now. It seems to have... Oh yeah, look at that. It's actually... So if I squirt some carburettor on top, cleaner on top of the paint, enough colour seems to wash off to make it... Oh yeah, look at that. That's miles better. So that's all I need to do. So because this paint is so old, it has become very crusty. It's dried up. It's horrible. What I just need to do is squirt some carburettor cleaner on top of the paint, and then the colour just simply... washes out into the carburettor cleaner. So that's what I need to do. Yeah, this paint's coming out how it did yesterday. That's marvellous. It is actually quite good paint. It doesn't look like I'm going to have to do a second coat, really. If I press that there, that'll stop it spinning like that. There we go. And get to the backs, and then I'll do the fronts of the nose cone in a minute. 37 horn is nice. I do agree. I do agree. You are saying some very agreeable things tonight. Yeah. I don't know what my favourite horn is on a loco. Probably not the class 55s. It's a very odd horn in the 55s. Yeah, the 37s aren't bad. The 47s can be a bit funny. What else are there? I'm not even sure what my favourite steam loco whistle is. Never mind diesel. The Stanier Hooters, the whistles are quite nice. Steam-wise. Yeah, they are nice. Flying Scotsman's depends which one. I think Scotsman has two whistles, doesn't it? The high-pitched one I don't particularly like. HSTs have gone. Yeah, indeed. The Great Western Railway ones are still in use, but the cross-country ones, which I did actually want to go and see at some point, but that chance is gone now. Was the last one in September, I want to say, the last HST cross-country one. I think I've seen the farewell video from that as well, so yeah. The HSTs have indeed gone, which is rather sad, but thankfully the Midland Pullman exists, which I have seen. I'm very glad to have seen that. I was going to go see it the other week actually, but I wasn't available, which is a little bit sad. But yeah, thankfully the Midland Pullman still exists. I've actually messaged somebody on Facebook Marketplace about a HST. So I'm actually just going to check my phone to make sure she hasn't messaged back. No, she hasn't. Thank you, Pete. I've just seen what you've put in the Discord. You've just reminded Northerner Joe that I am live. So yeah, I'll remove it right after the stream. His old Discord account. Yeah, I really should have painted this propeller before I put it on Junta. Never mind. The paint quantities seem to be diminishing, so we'll use some more carburettor cleaner. There we go. Evan Terry saw the cross-country HST tour, very nice. He doesn't like the Midland Pullman HST. I have to disagree. I very much like it, but as I always say with trains, each to their own. I'm not going to moan at you, unless of course you think that Flying Scotsman looks better in LNER Apple Green than BR Brunswick Green, but that's a completely other story. And on that note, Jaden, back perfect timing as usual, has said, back from dinner, have you blown anything up yet? No, I haven't. But Jaden, hopefully you just didn't hear what I said then, because I know you'll be very angry. Hopefully I did just avoid him before he came back. Jaden, whatever you do, if you didn't hear what I just said about Flying Scotsman being in the wrong colour, don't rewind the stream, please. Oh, I said that out loud, didn't I? Oh dear. Sorry, Jaden. Evan Terry agrees that it's in the wrong colour. I disagree. My best steam tour is the English Riviera Express. Not familiar with that one either. What is my favourite steam tour? The Waverley's quite nice. I do like that. The Waverley's a nice steam tour. The Christmas market ones are quite nice. You know, stood on a platform in middle of December. It's quite cold, but then you have a great big hot steam loco rumbling through. The Christmas markets, the Christmas steam tours are really nice. I do love, even though it's cold and can be, well, yeah, very cold, stood on a platform waiting to see one of those trains. I do very much like the Christmassy, wintry steam loco tours. I very much do enjoy those. Right, so we've almost, admittedly badly though, painted the propeller. I'm just touching the last bits up. This paint does seem to become quite a lot better when it is dry, thankfully. Gordon Bennett, you need a steady hand to do this. Mind you, I play the piano, but that doesn't really involve having a steady hand, does it? I'm not a surgeon, so I'm sorry, shirts. I'm sure a surgeon would be able to paint this perfectly without masking up, but yeah. I got the paint working, Jaden, by the way. It didn't dissolve in that pot of white spirit, so I've figured out if you spray some carburettor cleaner on top of that, the colour washes out from the paint into the carburettor cleaner, and it does actually seem to sort of paint it reasonably decently. So I have figured that out. So that's a bonus. So I have actually managed to paint the propeller, which on camera, oh, that actually looks better on camera than it does in person. That's a surprise. I have actually managed to paint the propeller, so I am pleased. I'm not quite sure what this massive lump is on the back of here. Let's see if I can get rid of that. Oh, it's a bit of sticky paint, that's what it is. It's a paint blob that's not... Oh yeah, that looks horrible. There, let's get rid of that paint blob and just touch that up again. What time are we on? Nearly 9 o'clock. Okay, I think I'll go to 9:30, as I did yesterday. Again, apologies for the late start, but you know, I can't just not schedule a stream because it doesn't give people enough notice. But similarly, I can't always, especially on weekends, stick to time because eating tea and other stuff, and I get given jobs. So, and I was in this case, I was sorting out the white spirit for the paints, which didn't actually end up working. But there we have a pit fire with a Spitfire with a painted propeller. So we need somewhere to leave that to dry while I paint the exhausts. So I'll put that up there. Let's catch up on the chat. Flying Scotsman is stupid, wouldn't agree with you there. Useless, no, wouldn't agree with you there. Trespass Magnet, do agree with you there. Should be 4472. Prefer BR to be honest, but I am aware I'm in the minority with that. So who here supports which green? BR Brunswick for me. The King 447 has Homey sound fitted, very nice indeed. Yeah, I do like DCC sound fitted, but sadly too expensive. I wouldn't really find it useful to be honest, and I'm in far too deep with analog now. All my signals are wired on. I've got like 15 locos, which are, quite a lot of them don't have the ability to have a decoder put in. And I'm a dab hand at electronics, especially railway electronics, so I could put one in, but it's just not something that I want to do really. Right, I'm going to attempt to glue the canopy in, which is probably going to go hideously wrong. But, oh, there's another little moulding pip on the back here. Evan Terry did, Jaden. It is a bit of a trespass magnet, though. It's also a bit of a crash magnet at the moment, but we'll not mention that. Let me catch up on the chat. Okay, I've caught up on the chat now. Jaden says, good one, George. Have I said something particularly agreeable? I honestly don't remember. Oh, so the cockpit does actually sit on there quite nicely, which I will probably need to mask up. Yeah, the pilot's, you are going to actually see quite a lot of blue from the inside of the pilot's cockpit, so I don't know whether I should attempt to try and paint the pilot now, or whether I just shouldn't bother and just leave it, because if I, yeah, his jacket's painted black, where his head isn't, so I could perhaps paint his helmet green, and try and reach in there and paint his trousers green, and maybe paint the sides of the cockpit green, or do I just leave it and accept that it's not going to be perfect? In fact, to be fair, when you've got the canopy on, you can't actually see a lot of the blue. You can only really see the pilot down the sides in there, as you can see. You can't really tell, you can only really tell the pilot's head is blue and the sides are blue. So what I think I'm going to do is paint around the edges of the cab green, which is a paint that doesn't require any, so to speak, modifying to actually make it to work. So because when that canopy, where is the canopy? When the canopy's on, you can't actually tell that very deep down inside, you can't tell the walls of the cockpit are blue. I'm actually just going to paint just around the inside now before I put that on. As I say, the instruction manual doesn't say that you should, but I think I'm going to. Let's try not to spill paint everywhere when we open this. Evan Terry is getting a little bit angry at Flying Scotsman. Just tone it down a little bit, please. I know you're using at signs and exclamation marks and other punctuation marks, but just tone it down a little bit, please. We don't need to be getting that angry. Even I don't get that angry when somebody says it should be an LNAR green. Yeah, just tone that down a little bit, please. McKing447, best class 37 is BR green and BR blue. Agreed. Best livery for him. I've got the large logo blue with the yellow cab ends, but yes, I do completely agree with you there. Indeed I do. Well, you seem rather angry, and if you're not angry, then I don't understand why you're swearing, to be honest. But, I wouldn't say it's rubbish. At least we haven't got it as a Steam logo, because the number on the main line these days is increasingly small. I do agree with Jaden, though. Gresley designs are generally very good, and they are very good. I know Jaden doesn't think much of the Peppercorn A1s, such as, well, Tornado, but, you know, that's a new build engine, so I think we can let that off. Not sure, I don't agree with the rebuilt, hang on, let me think. No, never mind. Going on a tangent that leads to nowhere there. But yeah, I do agree with Jaden. The Peppercorn A1s, yeah, the P2s were nice. But, especially Tornado, because that's a new build, I think we can let it off, can't we? Oh, was it the A2s that were... What was rebuilt from the P2s? I can't remember. What did the P2s get rebuilt into? Oh, A2/2. Okay, so I got that wrong. I said it might have been the A2s. Yeah. The P2s were much better than the A2s, I think. I think Arthur Peppercorn, Jaden will correct me on this if I'm wrong, turned them into the A2/2 Pacifics. But I do like the A1s, because obviously Tornado's here as well. Jaden likes Tornado and Blue Peter. Yeah, what's up with Blue Peter? Because I know she had that incident ages ago where she threw a coupling rod or something when a boiler primed, got water stuck and couldn't shut off the regulator. What's Blue Peter up to now? My best class 66 Mk.1a is either EWS or Freightliner livery. Although the BR livery, the one-off that the engine that they named British Rail, that is quite nice. So either EWS or Freightliner, I'd say. Britannia or is that supposed to say Braunton are much better. Britannia's not bad, as I said earlier. It's the best word to describe it. Well, yeah, but just please don't put that in here. It's not necessary, if you ask me. Think of a better word that conveys the same meaning. I'm not going to start arguing with you about it. But it's not really necessary. Especially as this is a family-friendly channel. Well, family-friendly. It's not made for kids, but it's not made for, you know, adults either. It's not like Peter Kay, who swears left, right and centre. Sorry, not Peter Kay. Wrong person. Gordon Ramsay. Peter Kay does swear though, but that is kind of funny and appropriate in the correct context. But I'm not going to argue with you about it, and I'm not falling out with you either. But we don't need that sort of implication of language in this channel. Thank you very much. Best class 66 is DB. It's a little bit plain for my liking. I will be completely transparent with you, but it is quite a striking livery. I'll give you that. Yeah, it's very bright. Yeah, I can see why. It's not my favourite. It is a touch plain for me, but I can see why. I can see why you say that. Definitely. Oh, I'm just trying to paint the pilot's outfit now, which I've decided to go with green for. And I'm just going to leave his face blue. I don't have any skin colour paints at all, so it's just going to have to stay like that. And now I'm just reaching in to try and get some green paint on his legs as well. As I said, I didn't think the pilot would be this visible, but because he is, I'm going to paint him green. Maybe I should have painted him brown, but most flight suits like you see in Top Gun Maverick and the like are green, so I've gone for green. Take it or leave it. And according to the instructions, the bit round the cockpit is green as well. So I'm going to, these bits on the side here, I'm going to paint green. I'm just going to extend the green down the side as well, so that I don't have to be so fine with the paintbrush when the cockpit is glued in place. And then this glue round that side just needs taking off. So yeah, I am going to paint round here green, because right on the painting instructions round the cockpit is green, so I don't have to get that close when I glue the cockpit on. So I'm just going to touch round here in green. I'm not going to go too far, because quite close to the back of the cockpit is actually in brown. But I just want to get round here in green. So my painting is not going to be so accurate that it's exactly as is shown in the box, but you know. Actually, this colour might be alright for a pale skin colour, but we'll see. A2 was the little brother to the A1. Some of the A1s got upgraded and made more powerful on a walkthrough, tended to then come the A3. Fair enough. Jaden likes Gordon Ramsay. So do I, and I do like cooking. I'm not saying, I'm just using his swearing as a point of comparison. I'm not saying I don't like him. I'm just saying, you know, we don't need to be effing and jeffing, so to speak. I do like cooking as well. My particular specialty being homemade pizza, which, if I do say it so myself, I'm a dab hand at. Yeah, I make some of the best homemade pizzas. I'm not even joking either. What time are we? Oh, we're only on 9:10. I thought we'd be on something to 10 with how long it seems to have been taken for me to paint this cockpit. That's a nice surprise. I'm just going to get some green paint down there. That'll do. Beyond where I've painted in the cockpit, you can't see any blue. Right, now I'm going to attempt to try and get some of this sort of pale camo-y base colour paint dissolved. And I'm going to see if I can paint the pilot's face with that. It's the closest thing to skin colour I've got. So, yeah, I think, yeah, this brown I think is, yeah, it's like a sick brown. So I'm not really sure that's any sort of imaginable skin tone. Sort of like khaki. In fact, if I painted the pilot's face with this colour, I think he'd look quite ill, to be honest. So yeah. On the topic of Bully, Pacific's Tangmate is having work done to her to be restored and should be on the main line soon if all goes well. Apparently, very nice. Jaden, did you ever answer what happened to Blue? I don't think you did. I asked. You might have forgotten. That's fine. What's happened to Blue Peter at the moment? Is she running? Is she in preservation? Is she holed up somewhere? Back in the days of World War I and World War II, the pilots wore brown leather jackets with fur ruffs and brown leather HSTs, and later you've said you mean hats, with the floppy ear things and sheepskin lining. Oh well, never mind. I've painted him green and I thought that'll camouflage him, as you can see here. That'll camouflage him in with the cockpit, so yeah, maybe I should have painted him brown, but, well, never mind. It doesn't matter. I might actually, I could actually, yeah, I could get in there and paint him brown, actually. Right, that's the brush cleaned out. Let's give it a wipe on here. Let's try and see if we can get some of this sorted. Pete and Jaden both like the sound of the pizza, and apparently Jaden is going to visit my house and eat a pizza. Okay. Whoops. Oh, I forgot. I put white spirit in that one as well. It's not really worked, though. Let's use the old carburettor cleaner trick. There we go, and see if we can't get some of that colour to leach into there. I really could do with another towel, so I'm going to dive under the workbench and find. Pete says it'll do. Yeah, it probably will, actually. I just remember pilots and stuff that I've watched being green jackets, that's all, but I could always repaint it, but we'll see how it goes. The King likes Black 5, so do I. Timber Valley's joined. Thank you very much for joining. The King said his best loco is his Class 20. Very nice. I'd like the 20, specifically in green with the yellow warning panel at the front. To do like those. Jaden says Blue Peter is in a storage facility near one of the stations, either Euston or Waterloo, I think. Excuse me. I can't remember exactly where, to be honest, off one of the lines. Okay, so she's not been cut up then. That's always a bonus. Right, now I need to do some poking about in this pot of paint to see if we can't dissolve some of the colour and get this pilot's face painted a reasonable colour. Although, to be fair, this paint isn't looking great. This looks green. It shouldn't be green. Well, I mean, it should be a very light green. I thought it was more like a skin colour, to be honest. I might have to go with the brown then. Yeah, this looks more pale on the diagram, but it's actually looking quite green here. Aiden has said it's a big hang-up for trains, not planes. Fair enough. Okay, so we have got some of the colour to come out of this, but that looks green. I thought it was more like a pale colour. So I am just going to paint the pilots in the brown colour instead. So that's fine. Thankfully, this is a colour that hasn't gone completely to pot. So, yeah, we're going to use brown, because that's all I've got. It's not looking very brown. A lot of the grey paint seems to have leached out. 50s on tour. Not, yeah, 50s. Do like 50s. Right, let's see if we can... Do you know what, Jaden? I think, you know, let's actually paint him in this horrible light green colour and say that he's got a bit sick from doing too many loop-the-loops. Why not? Ugh, this is all coming out in bits. More carburettor cleaner. I did try, Timber Valley by the way, I did try some white spirits, but it's not doing anything at all. I basically chucked all of the black paint into here, and it basically just sat in a big blob doing nothing. McKean says, your best diesel tour? Probably 50s, to be honest. 50s or 20s are probably my favourite to see. Yeah, they're the least common, I'd say. Maybe the 33s, actually. The West Coast Railway 33s I have not yet seen out and about, so I've not seen them in person. So I definitely at some point would like to see a West Coast Railways 33. Because as far as I know, they don't go out and about all that often. Right, let's see if that's dissolved. I need to give that some more time to work, ideally, but let's see if we can get the pilot painted travel sick colour. Not really dissolving this, but let's just persevere. Give it a little bit of agitation. This is horrible paint. Well, I'm sure it wasn't when it left the factory, but it's all sort of gone bitty now. Not really wanting to dissolve. Oh, it's all just run down his body. Never mind. Well, I think I've got his face painted some shade of green. It doesn't look very healthy. And actually all this paint is not even light paint, so it's wiped off on the towel. Oh, never mind. Well, his face is a little bit green. I'll try and be stupid and put some very small black dots on his face for eyes, which is probably going to look really goofy, but who cares? In fact, no, let's not do that. That's stupid. It's going to end up looking terrible. Right, as Jaden corrected me on earlier, the uniform for the pilot should actually be brown. So I'm going to try and paint him brown. I'm going to leave his helmet green, because that's going to be too difficult to paint that now. Right, I've just blown all that watery crap out of the way. And now I'm going to attempt to paint him brown. Which I actually seem to have managed to do. There, I think I've managed to paint the pilot a greeny brown shade. His uniform. Just dab that around there. His head can stay green, because if I try and paint that green, I'm just going to end up getting green everywhere. So. Timber says, if you make a list of what buildings you're after, George, pop it on Discord and I can come up with some supplies of plastic Gitscombe so we can all enjoy you building them. I mean, I don't dare I say it, it's not gone actually terrible today. We are getting somewhere, so to speak. I'm not doing a great job. Good job may just about to cover it if it was, I don't know, April Fool's Day or something, but thank you. Best Class 47 is West Coast livery. Probably not my absolute favourite, although the West Coast Railways liveries are a nice colour. Let's just touch up the sides of the cockpit where I've accidentally spilled brown paint. So that should be green, that should be green, that should be green, that should be green. Right, so the pilot is painted in a browny green colour. His face is painted in a green that makes him looks like that makes him look slightly sick. And his helmet has stayed in green. I'll just touch that side up. That's too much paint. And his helmet's staying in green because I really don't want to have to paint all that again. Well, there you go. So we've got a green cockpit with a brown pilot uniform in there. Erg didn't mean to do that. Sorry, McKing. Have you accidentally put him in timeout or something? Or deleted his... I'm not bothered, I'm just curious, because obviously I can't see the full thing in OBS, which probably should get another tab open for, but I just haven't. McKing's off. Thank you very much for joining, McKing. Nice to see you in the stream. I think it's the first time you've been in one. Thank you for commenting. Good talking points you've brought in today. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you for joining, and hope to see you again another time. Do enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening. Timber Valley Productions accidentally removed a comment and sat on his mouse. Ah, fair enough. Well, not accidentally removed a comment and then sat on his mouse. Sat on his mouse and then removed a comment. Fair enough. Right. So, the pilot... I'm going to try and paint this pilot brown again. I haven't done that very well. Hopefully some of the watery crap from the other paints run off as well. So I'm just going to literally just dab the paint and hope for the best, really. That doesn't look too bad. There, he definitely looks like he's in a brown uniform now. So I am pleased. Get this in the white spirits. It was in the way, so to punish your mouse, an inanimate object from being in the way, you just sat on it, did you? I am joking, by the way. More carburettor cleaner. There we go. Thanks for letting me join. No problems. Thank you very much for joining. Been nice having you. Right, so the exhausts need painting, which I may only do the very close bits of because I do want to glue these today. So I'm just going to paint where it goes very close to the body. This paintbrush is still a little bit watery. Let's try and get some paint, actual paint on here. I'm only going to paint very close to where the body will be because I would like to glue these in and paint it before I end the stream. So that's what I'm going to do, I think. I'm just going to paint the very last little bit. So I'm just going to paint the bit that's very close to the body so that I can glue that on, but then still be able to hold it and, you know, sort of glue it on, and then I can paint the rest of it with when it's actually sort of glued on. So I would like to get these glued on today. So I'm going to paint just close to it, so I can still have the painters on the tweezers on the non-painted bit, and then I can just glue it on and then paint. Because thankfully this glue does set very quickly. So the exhausts need to be painted in number 33 black, which is what I'm doing now. So there we go. This one goes on the right side, because as Jaden said earlier, the exhausts point backwards. So not polyfiller, polycement, we will put into... If I stand the plane up like... how's best to do this? Oh, I can just literally plug it in like that. Okay. We'll put the glue in the plane. Like that then. That's actually gone quite well. And then I'll hold it like this and just use the tweezers to plug it. Look at that! That went straight in! Better to use Humbrol Precision Poly Cement in my experience and needle tip. But, in my defence, this is everything you see. The only thing I have... Oh, this exhaust is bent slightly. The only things I have are what came in the kit, plus some basic tools, so my apologies. Timber Valley says, Carburettor cleaner, the stuff of dreams. Oh, God. Well, it does actually smell quite nice. I'm going to be completely transparent with you. It does smell quite fruity. Well, it smells like chemically brake cleaner type stuff, to be honest, but it does smell quite nice. I will be the first to admit that. But yeah, so white spirits timber did come nowhere near dissolving the paint, so I went with carburettor cleaner again, as I did yesterday, and realised that if I just spray some on the surface of the paint rather than trying to actually dissolve it, some of the colour and the paint residue, I guess, actually leaches into the the carburettor cleaner. It does actually sort of work reasonably well, so that's exactly what I'm doing. Once these are just painted around the edges, I'll just glue it in. Yeah, that's good enough. I'll glue that in and then paint it. That went straight in, needs context. Well, it did. It slid in perfectly, which, as you might have guessed, is a miracle to happen on Highbrook Model Railway. Will this one slide straight in with the admittedly slightly broken exhaust? Right, is this one going to slide straight in? No. It isn't. Because that bit of the exhaust is broken. So I'll just use this side of the tweezers to coax it in. That's not gone straight in. Oh dear. Maybe it will do. Maybe it needs some brute force and ignorance. In fact, it has gone all the way in. It just looks like it's gone less far in the other one because the other one isn't painted. Right, we've got the exhausts in. Look at that. Timber Valley said, oh yeah, that went straight in, needs contact. Jaden says, can you quote my terrible quote from last night? Yes, you can. Jaden, go on. I can't even remember what I said because last night was quite a comedic stream. So yeah, go ahead and say what I said last night because it'll be funny for me to think, did I really say that live stream? But yes, Jaden, please do repeat what I said last night because I'm sure it'll be quite amusing. The propeller doesn't look terrible, although some bits have flaked off, so I do need to repaint that at some point. There we go. What locos and rolling stock are you after, George? None at the moment, unfortunately. I am restricting myself from buying anything like that because there will be no money for scenery left over if I do. So, thank you very much for looking out for me, as you have been doing over the past few days. But all I'm looking to do at the moment is thinking of what locos are like, and I'm just creating a list in my phone, really. Yeah, I dare not even look at locomotives, really, because I will just end up buying them. And it'll be another year before I have enough money to think about scenery. So yeah, thank you very much for looking out for me, but I dare not look at any locos or rolling stock because I will just end up buying them. Oh, I did say that, didn't I? You have to jam it between the legs. Oh wow, it went in the hole. Yeah, basically, what that was is obviously between the pilot's leg and the Spitfire, there's a yoke so that controls the up and down when you pull forwards and back, and the roll left and right. And yeah, so I was trying to, because I'd forgot to glue that into the pilot before gluing the pilot into his seat, I had to slide that very, very small piece down between the pilot's leg and fit it into the locating hole in the base of the cockpit floor, and I only realised how terrible that sounded after I'd said it, and much to Jaden's amusement, as I'm sure you're just finding out now. So yes, hold my hands up, I did indeed say that. Not intentional, although it was quite funny. Well, I haven't spilt black paint everywhere all over the sides of the Spitfire as well, that's a bonus. Last night was quite a comedic stream, I'll admit. If I do spill over where the black should be painted, then I can always just, you know, repaint it again, or sand it off, or wash it off, or just paint over with another colour. As I have gone slightly over there, but I'm not too concerned really. Well, carburettor cleaner has certainly been, as Tim Valley said earlier, the stuff of dreams. I may be having some funny dreams having smelt so many fumes of it tonight, but we'll see. Well, that's gone quite well. Now for the other side, and then after that I can glue the canopy on, and tomorrow won't actually have that much to do, I don't think. It's just mainly gluing stuff and the landing gear and such. There we go. That's the exhausts painted. I've done another thing. They're not painted very well. In fact, no, they're not too bad actually. There we go. Spitfire with the cockpit and the pilot painted in... dear me, I've just realised that that's caught a bit of brown on there. Touch it up with this bit of stick that's got some green paint on. There we go. So yeah, pilot's been painted green, round the cockpit has been painted green, so I don't have to get really close to the cockpit and the plastic cockpit. So I've painted round there green so I can slide it on and don't have to be super precise when this is glued on. Painted the pilot brown, painted the exhausts, I've painted the propeller, which I'm just going to very quickly touch up again now. The props really, where it's accidentally touched the towel. The blades, sorry, not props, it's only got one prop of course. Blades of the prop blades, and then I'll glue that canopy on, and then that's, well, we've not done too bad tonight really. We've still only just about finished step 4 and there's 7, so we've only really gone sort of 0.9 of a step today, if you like, because we haven't quite painted the underneath of the wings, but you know, it's been quite fun really. I'm not going to, sort of pause this series and then say, oh yeah, I'll do some train running, I'll come back to this in a week, because to be honest, if I stop doing this, I probably won't start again. So, I'm just going to continue doing streams of doing the Spitfire until it's finished really. I do apologise if some people find it a little bit boring, but there are some comedic moments of doing it, and I think people are enjoying watching me fail miserably. And so am I, to be honest. It is quite amusing to realise how bad I am at this sort of stuff, so yeah. I will get some masking tape as well for tomorrow, so I can mask off areas and paint them with a little bit more accuracy. Fortunately, I've got a really sharp knife here as well, so I can cut it and match it up really well. So I'll get some of that masking tape tomorrow, and I'll probably do a second coat on some of these black parts. And try and get them a little bit more accurate than I've done today. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how this is looking so far. For a beginner's model, it doesn't look like a complete train wreck, or rather a complete plane wreck. So yeah, I'm reasonably happy with how this has gone. There's not massive paint stripes all the way down the body where I've slipped or anything like that, so I'm quite pleased. Are you left-handed, George? Yes. My current plastic kit project, me, is scratch building a class 139 parry. Yes, I saw that on your video yesterday. I think I left a comment. You've actually replied to it, it says on my phone. I was just checking the time. But yeah. Jaden says his favourite pastime is just laughing at me fail. Fair enough. Pete says really enjoyed tonight, being great. It's not boring. Thank you very much, Pete. Appreciate that you have enjoyed it. Yeah, I suppose it is good to watch somebody do something for the first time, because then you sort of expect how it might go for you, although I'm sure your painting skills are better than mine. But yeah, thank you for that, Pete. I'm glad you've enjoyed it. And as you are completely right in saying, Jaden makes it quite funny with his comments. Fair enough. Writing with a fountain pen must suck for you being left-handed. Don't use fountain pens, never have done. But even with biros, which I do end up with blue pen or the blue or black pen all the way down here, but it's just something you live with, innit? Right, cockpit. Let's get that glued on. And let's say goodbye for tonight. Timber's got to disappear, dinner's ready. Fair enough, thank you for watching, Timber, nice to see you. Thank you for joining, and well, I guess I'll see you tomorrow perhaps, because I am doing another one of these streams tomorrow. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, thank you for joining. Has anyone seen the canopy? Because I don't know where it is. Oh, it's there at the end of the... My massive pliers were covering it up. I found it. Let's stick that way. Let's put the glue on the plastic, so if I put it on there it'll just dribble everywhere and look terrible. So I'll put the glue actually on the plastic this time rather than on the Spitfire body. Don't need a lot. And I'll just gently press this into place, line it up and then just go blam and place it on. That went on first time as well. Oh, no. I've just smudged that glue. Is that paint dry? Yes. No, it's all falling apart. Oh, that's annoying. I've just spludged that glue on my finger. Try that again. Let's wipe the glue off, get this excess glue off and try again, because I've just smudged all that glue down the side. Carburettor cleaner, let's give it a clean. In fact, no, paint thinners would be better for this, considering it's covered in gluey stuff, so I'll just drop that in there. Not for too long, I don't want it to dissolve. And we'll try that again, because I did accidentally just smudge glue on that. So let's see if we can give that a little bit of a clean off. Good job I got that paint thinners up here actually. Well, white spirits, it's quite useful. Jaden is the only one who used fountain pens. That's because Jaden's posh. I'm joking, Jaden, I don't really mind. Pete is going. He says, good night, George. Have a good rest of the night. See you soon. Take care. Thank you very much for joining, Pete. I shall be going soon myself. Thank you for joining, and I'm glad you've enjoyed. Do take care indeed. Oh, carburettor cleaner's actually got this muck off quite well. Drop it back into the white spirit. And actually, this may actually cause the glass to become a little bit frosted, which I'm not going to complain about actually, because it will give the impression that the cab has actually been used a little bit, like it's dirty. It has actually done. Possibly gone a little bit too frosted from doing that, but I'm not too bothered. Right, let's try the glue again. That frosted look actually looks better, just then you can't see the horrific stuff that's going on the inside. There. That's the cockpit glued on. There we go, don't look terrible. So yeah, because the carburettor cleaner and the white spirits will actually attack the surface of the plastic, that has actually just frosted that glass a little bit, so We have lost some of the detail in the inside, but that has the added advantage that you can't see how horrible it looks. So yeah, I don't think that looks too bad. You can't really see too much detail inside the cockpit anymore, but to be honest, I am not too bothered because it looks not great anyway. So that has actually just attacked the surface of the plastic a little bit, and that does look a little bit better now. So yeah. The underneath of the wings need painting apparently. Where though? Oh, apparently where the landing gear goes. Can I get in there without nosing up? Probably not, we'll see. I could just leave that because the Spitfire's always going to be face down anyway. Yeah, I'm not going to try and paint in there. I should have really painted that before I glued the top half of the wings to the bottom half. But yeah, I'm just going to leave that. I should have really just painted in there, but it's always going to be like that anyway, so you're not really going to see. So, thank you very much indeed for watching, everyone. I'm going to call it there for tonight. I shall, well, before I go, I'll seal all this off. I'll give the paintbrush a quick clean, and remember to keep the white spirit up here to keep it soaked and all that. That sort of just exploded around there. I'll wipe that off. Ooh, that has properly exploded. Oh, stick together. There, that'll do. So, not been too bad. Quite a lot of mistakes made along the way, I presume, but we've not done terribly. So, folding my towel up, and I'll put that one over here to keep it safe for tomorrow. Give the paintbrush a little bit of a wash out, and we'll end the stream there. About 10 minutes over, that's not too bad. There, that'll do, and I'll give that another little rinse out again tomorrow. So, thank you very much for watching indeed, everyone. It has been lovely for you to come and join me today, and thank you for your patience with my slight stupidity with being completely incompetent and incapable of building basic plastic kits. This is actually supposed to be a beginner model, but oh well, never mind. Thank you very much indeed for watching. Thank you for spending your Saturday night now with me. Very much enjoyed having you with me along for the ride, and I will be back tomorrow to continue the build of this Airfix Spitfire. So yeah, not looking too bad now. I have just frosted that cockpit because the inside didn't look great. So yeah, and as somebody quite rightly said, if I paint this not too badly, all the blue bits, I could actually say that this is a stored model. So I could actually put it on the layout somewhere and make it look like a disused model. So I could even perhaps find some tarpaulin to go over the cockpit, sort of to suggest that it's been disused and it's just been left there since the war or something, my layout not being in a particular time period or anything like that. I could definitely indeed do that. So yeah, I'll come back and hopefully we can get on with some real painting of this tomorrow. So that's step 4 done. Step 5 involves, oh, what does the question mark mean? The question mark means alternative parts. So you have options for the landing gear and such, so you can model it stowed, or I presume you can model it open, I presume, something like that. Anyway, we'll have a look and see. So yeah, landing gear to go tomorrow, hopefully not too much painting, then we fit the landing gear, fit the aerial type thing on top of the Spitfire, and then we do actually get to painting that tomorrow. So yes, even though the Spitfire is not going to be greatly painted, it won't matter, because as Jaden has just agreed with me in the chat, I may actually be able to put this somewhere on the layout and make it look disused. As I say on the box, it is 1:72, not 1:76, so it is slightly bigger than it should be, but I don't think it's going to be massively out of proportion. You know, there's only sort of 4 difference between 72 and 76. So yeah, been very nice to have you all along for the ride with me tonight. Thank you very much indeed for coming, and I will see you tomorrow night where we continue the build of this Airfix Spitfire. Thank you for watching, and I do hope to see you again soon. Take care and enjoy the rest of your Saturday night.